Hello everyone. Mm, Let me share the link. uh, One time. Yeah, please, whoever is present, please write your name in the comment box. Whoever is present, please write your names in the comment box. Okay. Mm, Only three of you are present. Okay. Quite a few are present, so we can start the class. Now, Sonnet 130, I told you yesterday, but last day, the last class, that uh, both the sonnets which is there in your syllabus is all about love and the concept of love, the convention of love, and how Shakespeare is defining and redefining the concept of love in these poems. This sonnet is a sonnet which is a part of the sonnet cycle called the Dark Lady. So obviously, I have discussed with you about the sonnet cycles of Shakespeare, and this is the sonnet cycle. Is a sonnet cycle which consists of 26 sonnets, and this is the fourth one among them. Uh, this is a sonnet which not only redefines the concept of love, it also mocks the Petrarchan concept of love and and Platonic on love, which we talk is Platonic love. So basically, before reading the poem, we will talk about two things, two different things, two different concepts. One is Platonic love. What is Platonic love? And another is what is Petrarchan conceit. This poem is essentially defined as an anti-Petrarchan sonnet. Okay, we all know that Petrarch was one of the first poets to write sonnets. He was one of the first poets to construct sonnets in a proper way, isn't it? So we can understand that Petrarch's name got connected with the idea of a sonnet, and Petrarch became the father of the uh, of the genre of sonnets. So what Shakespeare does in this poem is Shakespeare entirely demolishes the concept of sonnet which is established by Petrarch and re-establishes his own idea of love. So first we will talk about what is Platonic love. Okay, so Platonic love in Plato actually wrote a book. Actually, it's a compilation of a few books. Uh, in Plato's book Symposium, uh, different class. Plato's book Symposium, uh, he talks about what his guru or what his teacher Socrates talks about. Okay. Socrates recounts doctrine about Eros, that he modestly says has been imparted to him by the wise woman Diotima. Eros is love. Eros here means love. She bids us not to linger in the love evoked by the beauty in a single human body, but to mount up as by a stair, from one going on to two, from two to all fair forms, then up from beauty of the body to the beauty of the mind, until we arrive at a final contemplation of the idea or form of beauty, absolute, separate, simple, and everlasting. So, in Plato's idea of love, Plato actually places uh, mind over body. Okay, Plato Plato's idea means Socrates' idea, which he defines as that mind is more important than body. And if we go step by step in the higher forms of love, we will go beyond body and we will reach the concept of mind. What he says is, so body is more, mind is more important than body. Okay, from this beauty in its own world of ideas, the human soul is in exile, and of it beauties of the body and of the world perceived by the senses are only distorted and impermanent reflections. Plotinus and other Neoplatonists, um, the new Platonists, a school of Platonic philosophers of the 3rd to the 5th century, developed the view that all beauty in the sensible world, as well as all goodness and truth, is an emanation, a radiation from the one or absolute, which is the source of all being and all value. What it means is, basically it means that uh, Platonic love is not about physical love. Platonic love is about mind. Platonic love is about soul rather than uh, physicality. It is almost a non-sexual form of love, or rather, we can say that the Elizabethans interpreted it as a non-sexual form of love. Okay. Now, this is the concept of Platonic love, which Shakespeare doesn't use in his poems, or rather in this poem. Okay, we understood what is Platonic love. Platonic love is not sexual love; it is non-sexual love, and there is always a distance between the lover and the beloved in Elizabethan times. Like, if you, for example, in Sydney's Astrophel and Stella, Astrophel is a star lover and Stella is a star. Now, obviously, there is a huge distance between Astrophel and Stella. Astrophel and Stella, obviously, the star lover can only look at the star and appreciate the star. That's what Astrophel is doing throughout the sonnet cycle, isn't it? So, there is the physical contact between the lover and the beloved. In case of Edmund Spenser, we can't say that. However, there are some conventions which is Petrarchan, or which is Platonic for that matter, not Petrarchan. Sorry, there are some concepts which are Platonic. However, his sonnet cycle, amority, ends up in a marriage, uh, which is not possible in terms of Platonic love. In terms of Platonic love, uh, there will not be a happy ending. Happy ending is not possible, because that means that the lover will not meet the beloved, or the lover will not, the union is not possible between the lover and the beloved. Okay. Another very important thing in Platonic love is the uh, lover is hunted and the beloved is the hunter. Okay, that means that beloved is always very important. Beloved is always glorified. It's glorified like a heavenly body. Okay, glorified like a goddess. And that's where we can come we can come into the contact with the term called Petrarchan conceit. Now, what is Petrarchan conceit? Petrarchan conceit actually, by 16th century, the term was still being used as a synonym for thought and as roughly equivalent to concept, idea, and conception. So till 16th century, conceit meant something else. What did conceit mean? Conceit meant thought, conception, idea. Okay, yeah, thought, conception, idea. That's what conceit meant. Uh, which might also then denote a fanciful supposition and an ingenious act of deception or a witty or clever remark or idea. As a literary term, this word has come to denote a fairly elaborate figurative device of a fanciful kind, which often incorporates metaphor, simile, hyperbole, or oxymoron. But later on, what it meant, it became a device of comparison. যখনই কোনো পোয়েম আমরা লিখছি, পোয়েমের মধ্যে কি করছে যে বিভিন্ন রকম কম্প্যারিজন করছে। দেখবে প্রতিটা পোয়েমের মধ্যে কোনো না কোনো জিনিসের সাথে কম্প্যারিজন করে, কারণ কোনো জিনিসকে ডেসক্রাইব করতে গেলে comparison is the best way to describe something or anything, isn't it? Comparison is the best way to describe something. So এই যে জিনিসগুলো, এই যে the devices যেগুলো ফিগার অফ স্পিচে তোমরা পরে পড়বে, সেগুলো যেমন হলো তোমার ধরো অক্সিমোরন বা সিমিলি বা মেটাফর, হ্যাঁ, বা হাইপারবোলে, হ্যাঁ, এগুলো সমস্ত কিছুই কনসিটেরই বিভিন্ন রকম ফর্মস বলছে। The pleasure we get from many conceits is intellectual rather than sensuous. তো আমরা প্রথমে কি বুঝলাম? প্রথমে জানলাম প্লেটনিক লাভ ব্যাপারে, নাকি নন সেক্সুয়াল একটা কনসেপ্ট, যেটাতে মাইন্ড আর সোল বেশি ইম্পর্টেন্ট বডির থেকে, অ্যাসেক্সুয়াল একটা রিলেশনশিপ যেখানে অবভিয়াসলি লাভার এন্ড বিলাভেড কখনো মিট করে না, আর বিলাভেড সবসময় লাভারের থেকে অনেক উঁচুতে থাকে, মানে আমি ওকে পেতেই পারি না, একটা বামনের জন্য যেন একটা চাঁদ যেরকম, সেরকম, ঠিক আছে। এবারে আমরা জানতে চাইছি কনসিট ব্যাপারে। কনসিট একটা লিটারারি ডিভাইস, যেটার দ্বারা যেটা ইউজ করা হয় পোয়েমসের মধ্যে কম্প্যারিজন করার জন্য, কম্প্যারিজন করে জিনিসপত্র ডেসক্রাইব করবার জন্য, ঠিক আছে। এবারে পেট্রার্কান কনসিট কাকে বলে? পেট্রার্কান কনসিট অবভিয়াসলি প্লেটনিক লাভের সাথে কিছু কানেকশনস রয়েছে। পেট্রার্কান কনসিট হলো দ্য প্লেজার, পেট্রার্কান কনসিট বলতে আমরা বুঝি যখন বিলাভেডের সাথে প্রচন্ড হাই সুপারফিশিয়াল জিনিসপত্রের কম্প্যারিজন করা হয়, সেগুলো হলো পেট্রার্কান কনসিট। আমরা পড়ছি the pleasure we get from many conceits is intellectual rather than sensuous. They are particularly associated with metaphysical poets, but are to be found in abundance in the work of Italian Renaissance poets. So আমরা মেটাফিজিক্যাল কনসিট, দু রকমের কনসিট হয় ইংলিশ লিটারেচার পোয়েট্রি, দু রকমের কনসিট, একটা হলো পেট্রার্কান কনসিট, আর একটা হলো মেটাফিজিক্যাল কনসিট, ঠিক আছে। উই উইল নট গেট ইনটু মেটাফিজিক্যাল কনসিট। যখন তোমরা জন ডান পড়বে বা অ্যান্ড্রিউ মার্বেল পড়বে, তখন তোমরা metaphysical conceit কাকে বলে জানতে পারবে। Shakespearean conceit is not essentially metaphysical conceit, it's anti-Petrarchan for that matter, কারণ he is continuously mocking the Petrarchan ideas in this point, sonnet number 130. Okay, মক করছে মানে কি, প্রতিটা কনভেনশন যেটা পেট্রার্ক লিখে গেছে সেগুলোকে ও টুইস্ট করছে, সেগুলোকে বলছে এইগুলো ঠিক নয়, এগুলো ভুল, এবং হি ইজ রিডিফাইনিং এভরিথিং। আচ্ছা, we can distinguish various kinds. The sonneteering conceits are among the commonest. Achha. These tend to be decorative, and the writers of love sonnets had a large number of conventional conceits.